Going on, traders? I'm Antoine Farrar, back with another trading video with Digital Goatz Academy. Welcome to our live trading segment. So let me go ahead and pull up the charts. If many of you are viewing, obviously you can hear. I do apologize that my voice is a little bit um, hoarse because I'm a little bit under the weather. Thought I had that. But if you're tuning into this video, make sure you hit that like button as well as comment and subscribe. That definitely helps the entire. Thought I just had somebody. Okay. That definitely helps my channel grow. But like I said, let's just get into our live trading segment. There's not too much to discuss today besides like what the market is doing based off of price action right now. So I'm looking at US 30. We did have jobless claims released this morning, and it was building up support basically to trap buyers and then push the market down. Now, these were areas that we already had annotated. Now, let's just kind of go back to where we started from the beginning of this week anyway. So we sold off from Sunday. Sunday sold off. Now it sold off to an area that we were looking for anyway. We're looking for this general area just because that there was a gap right there. So that was our technical analysis indicator letting us know that at the very least, price may try to revisit this area. What did it do? It bought off that area. Almost a sniper entry. I know I was a little bit off, but damn near a sniper entry that we had within this market. So price pushed up and is creating more data for us to look at. So if you look to the left of where price is currently at, we can see that this is consolidation. Now there is a type of pattern that this is called. That's why I even highlighted, I even drew these black lines because there's a type of structure that there's a name for it, but it's still surrounding consolidation. And what do we know about indices? What do they like to do? They like to be attracted to consolidation. Now, that's all forms of consolidation. I mean, we have consolidation down here. I've already pretty much annotated this area. We have consolidation right here, but this is probably basically this is the most relevant form of consolidation for US 30 right now because we did hit a level of resistance. Now, even though we hit a level of resistance, that's not saying that we're reversing, but just basically respecting the foundation that the resistance that the ceiling brings, right? Because we normally are looking for what at resistance levels? Sells, right? So we can see that the market did sell off, but we don't have to pretty much trick our minds to believing that, oh, the sell off is like selling. No, it's just pulling back. And how do you view this? Turn it to a turn it to a line chart. So you turn it to a line chart, you can see that we have 14 minutes left before this candle ends and basically go into what, 10:30? Oh, this is the 45 minute. Let me look at the 30-minute. So new 30-minute candle triggered. You can see that the market is still pushing down currently. But again, this was the area that I was looking at for us to buy off of. So it just depends on when the market decides to turn around from here. So the thing about consolidation is what we already know is that what can it do? It can test the high of it or it can test all the way into the market. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere within that zone. Uh, well, it's kind of hard to say which one is like the better, like you want to see, because sometimes the market will get so aggressive, especially behind news, that it could trigger like a aggressive push in order to sweep buyers and then push the market back up. But I don't want to confuse us thinking that that's what the market is about to do. I just like recognizing that's possible. You know what I'm saying? Even with me paying attention, like that's still possible. So we have so next month we're supposed to have a decision for interest rates, right? What the economy is is hoping is that the Federal Reserve cuts interest rates. I think President Trump is also looking for that. I don't think that we'll get that. And if we do get that, it's because this week and the next couple of weeks that the market would have to be like aggressively bullish. But if the market is kind of like ranging in this general area, like what we see today, and hasn't really broken this high of what is it, 45,700, and it hasn't pushed us into that 46K territory, then yeah, more than likely more than likely we're not going to get a rate cut just based off the technicals. Don't ask me why, but just understand based off the technicals, we're probably not going to get a rate cut. So, what does that mean? That means that right now we have to look at the market still buying up, and the only thing we have to recognize is like how it pulls back. So it did a major drop this morning. Well, it just depends on who you are as a trader. To me, this isn't a major drop. What is this? 1,500 pips. That's about 150 on a point zero 0.01, just doing the mental math. So that's not a bad position to be in if you even entered right here. But the primary position where you wanted to enter is right here. One thing I do is that when the market starts showing me like rejection and stuff, see how like it pulled this candle like pulled back up already. I think it was on the hour time frame that we saw that. Maybe the 45 minute. So in an area that I was looking to buy at, I like that I start seeing like consolidation on the market struggle to continue going in the opposite direction or the direction that I'm going against. So you can see right here, this is consolidation, like I already mentioned, and the market is creating wicks, struggling to break down there. Now, yeah, could it still push a candle into here? Absolutely. But this is the stuff that I like to see that makes me more confident that the market is, in fact, playing to the directional bias that I already had. Jobless claims just wiped out buyers. But again, I still think that we're overall bullish just because of what we've been seeing for the entire week. If we go out to the weekly time frame, you can see that this weekly candle started pulling up, like creating a wick. And you can see where we came from. Oh. So you can see where we came from this entire week. This is where we were for basically Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, like I think this was Monday. So Monday pushed us all the way up here, and now what price is doing is basically ranging or consolidating before it decides to make its move. I think by the end of this week, this candle will be bullish, if not at least be all the way back up here. That's what I'm looking for to continue. So you just would have to find your position. I do think that consolidation zone where I'm currently at is a buy position for traders. And the only thing I think that it could do is like test within this zone, anywhere within, you know what I'm saying, anywhere within this zone. I like what I'm seeing right now, but anywhere within this zone, I'm looking at it to buy up. And then again, we could see it as low as this, but we have news coming out. So I don't think that we'll see that just based off of how cryptocurrency was reacting, which should influence the NASDAQ, which the NASDAQ should influence S&P pushing up than overall US 30. As you can see, the numbers are changing and we're getting a little bit of slight rejection. So you just have to be patient. We have 1030, the 1030 candle coming out. So that normally switches the direction once the market starts testing like off of the 10 minute or well, it really doesn't matter what time frame, but we can see that the 10 minute has been showing these rejection wicks. Like I said, what I like to see, we have a rejection wick right here. We have wicks right here. So we just need either 1030 or the 11 a.m. candle to turn this market over. Even if it's not turning over, I'm sure. Well, no, I'm not even going to say that. It is turning over, yo. For a fact, like we've already seen that the direction of this market is up. So the only thing is where it wants to buy up from. We had our push that we needed to come back down in order to test. So you should have taken profit knowing that we've already seen this over and over where what? Opening bell brings the market down. Opening bell brings the market down. Does it keep the market down there? Only if the market was selling off, like doing either a major sell-off or like we saw in March, selling the fuck off, right? So opening bell has been consistently bringing the market down to a buy zone. That's what we've been seeing, to a buy zone. So you just have to pay attention to that and not jump the gun. And even if you jump the gun, prepare for the possibility of the market going to a lower position. You want to go ahead and annotate a lot of these areas to go ahead and prepare yourself, like just in case the market comes down to a level that, oh man, I'm glad I waited and see if it did push down to this level. So it's like you're not even thinking about the trade at that point. I mean, like I said, there's really nothing more to discuss because based off of market forecast that I gave out on YouTube, but that I did Tuesday, everybody should have the overall. I even talked about like it creating resistance up here, but just because it creates resistance, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's selling off. I think that we're just the market is respecting the foundation, and then it's pulling the market back like it does to correct itself, and then we're going to push up from here. So. I really wanted to focus primarily on US 30 because I do think that this is about to be the move that's going to take us to either 48K or 50K. I'm really shooting for that 50K. And I wouldn't say hold the market to 50K because that's a long way up. But what I'm saying is that what you could do is just keep buying, knowing that the direction is going, buy, wait for the pullback or try to recognize the pullback, buy. Don't try to trade the against the pullback. So don't try to, well, I'm gonna sell down. No, just see based off of the data that the market is giving you, like we have these data points you can easily just be patient enough after you take your profit, knowing that, oh man, opening bell is going to bring the market down. Opening bell is probably going to bring the market down. Does it do that all the time? No, but it does that a lot more than not. You understand what I'm saying? But that's really all I got. To be honest, traders, like I don't want to go too depth into anything else. Obviously, if US 30 is pushing up, if you've been following my channel, you know that S&P is probably shortly to follow, if not already bullish. So you just have to find your position. But for US 30, I do think this is the buyer zone for most buyers. I think that the market is trapping sellers in to make it believe that we're selling. And even if we are pushing down a little bit lower, I still think that that's a buy zone. Like I said, it could cover this 100% if we don't get a turnaround around 10:30 or the 11 a.m. candle. So just this territory between 45.4 to 45.39, like that's your buy zone territory, being that the 45.4 is the highest point. So as long as we stay above here, should be good to go, but there's a possibility it could drive us into the consolidation, but that's still your buy zone. So that's all I got, traders. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. I know this was extremely short, but I believe that I covered a lot of this stuff on market forecast the other day. So I hope this helps everyone. I hope y'all make a lot of money by the end of this week. We've definitely been making what we need to make. And I'll see everybody on the next video with Digital Goatz Academy. This is Antoine Farrar signing out. Peace.